So certainly this is a very common question these days from both employees and organizations. Many employers did roll out mandatory vaccination policies that can carry significant penalties, including unpaid leaves of absences or even terminations for cause, which is when an employee is terminated and no severance package is provided upon departure. How enforceable these policies are, though, is really the key question. Unfortunately, there is very little case law which would apply in the context of a pandemic. Nevertheless, in recent weeks, we have seen 3 recent decisions that have been released regarding mandatory vaccination policies in the context of unionized workplaces. So I think it's important to note that while unionized workplaces are subject to a slightly different legal framework, they do have some limited applicability for non-unionized employees. And so they are helpful decisions. The key issue in all 3 decisions was really the reasonableness of the mandatory vaccination policies. And this is significant because how reasonable a mandatory vaccination policy is something that's going to be assessed in non-unionized workplaces as well. This is because if an employee is going to be subject to significant discipline, such as an unpaid leave of absence or a termination for cause, then that the workplace policy that discipline is merited under also needs to be reasonable in order to be enforceable. So these decisions, even though they pertain to unionized workplaces, serve as helpful guideposts. While I won't just delve into the decisions themselves in the interest of time, I'd like to note some common themes that are emerging at this point. Firstly, vaccination policies are in accordance with the Occupational Health and Safety Act, which obligates employers to take all reasonable precautions to provide a safe work environment for their employees. Secondly, mandatory vaccination policies are very much in accordance with the Ontario Human Rights Code, as long as they contain valid accommodations and exemptions for those individuals that may not be able to be vaccinated due to valid medical or religious grounds. I note as an aside that the Ontario Human Rights Commission has clarified that those exemptions are going to be quite narrow. One key theme that we are seeing emerging is that the context of the working environment and industry are also highly relevant factors in determining reasonability. A mandatory vaccination policy in the context of a workplace that has seen outbreaks, or in a congregate care settings where there is some legislative mandates as well imputed on those workplaces, are going to be assessed very differently than a workplace where most employees are going to be working remotely for the foreseeable future. So certainly there's no one-size-fits-all approach. What is reasonable in one workplace may not be reasonable in another workplace. So employers are encouraged to ensure that their policies are customized to reflect their business needs. Certainly this is an area of law that is going to be growing, and certainly an area of law where we're going to be keeping our eyes open, as we're going to see many more decisions released in the coming weeks and months. But if you'd like more information regarding these decisions or vaccination policies in general, I would encourage you to reach out to the team at Rodney Employment Law, or to visit our website where we post updates regularly.